All right, here we go, guys. We're going to start on artist trading cards. This is going to be the bulk of what we're working on for the rest of the 9 weeks. Typically, in my advanced classes, we do this the second 9 weeks of class in addition to the assignments that we typically do in class. So, your workload is going to be a little bit less because you're only going to be focusing on these artist trading cards for the next few weeks. So, what is an artist trading card? An artist trading card is a really small work of art, 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. It's the same size as a baseball playing card or playing cards like a deck of cards. So, same size, 2.5 by 3.5. And you guys are going to create a set of 15 works. Don't panic. I'm not expecting you guys to get all 15 done all at once. We're going to be working in stages to complete the set. And you can see here on this first slide, this week, April 13th through the 19th, the expectation is that you create a plan for your set of trading cards. That's sketchbook work and the first 5 thumbnail sketches for your first 5 cards. So we're going to take it kind of slow to begin with so we can start our plan of action. The second week, April 20th through the 26th, you guys are actually going to create the first 5 trading cards, and they're going to be due at the end of the week. So we're talking maybe a card a day. Again, these are small 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards that you're working on, a little at a time, all at once. It's totally up to you guys. So the lesson is basically building a body of work. These cards need to be cohesive. They need to have some sort of concrete idea. In the AP art world, it is called a sustained investigation. So, a theme that carries through all 15 cards. And we'll go through these next few slides and we will talk about some of the best works that I've seen, and you guys can kind of watch as I narrate, looking at both their creativity, cohesiveness, and great technique. Again, these cards can be made with any medium or materials that you have. They can be collaged, they can be painted, they can be pencil drawings. Even though we're a painting class, I'm leaving it open ended so that you can choose to do something that you are excited and passionate about, a technique that suits you best as an artist. I'm also leaving it open ended for you guys to choose your subject matter and theme, again, so that you are excited and passionate about the set of cards that you are creating. So here we go. Here is one set that was created by a student. It is very cohesive. Her subject matter is all K-pop artists with portraiture. Really, really good technique with her portraiture and great color scheme that creates this cohesiveness. The other thing I want you guys to notice on this set of cards is how she trimmed the edges so that they look a little bit more upscale. Her finished quality was really, really nice. If you guys happen to have a deck of cards laying around, you may use the deck of cards as your surface and you can prime them, paint them, draw on top of them. Then you already have the size cut to the right proportions, that 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Um, this set of slide of artist cards, the student was really ambitious. She created stencils for each one of them, portraiture stencils, and spray painted the stencils onto basic color blocked backgrounds. So very creative. I believe she had Mr. Fletcher, and Fletcher has taught stenciling in the past. So that is what she did. Again, keep in mind these are very small 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards. So think about the amazing technique and detail and time it took to create each of these cards. This student had a great theme and inspiration. You guys can choose to take your cards in any direction you want. This student was very passionate about the topic he chose, and you can see in each one of his cards how that theme is carried out. He was also inspired by famous artists Lichtenstein and Mondrian, So their styles of art are reflected in these cards as well. So you guys can choose to be inspired by other artists and different subject matters. This set of cards was really cool, very cohesive and creative. He made each card look like a Polaroid picture. He added acetate or little plastic film over the top of each one so that they had that kind of photo quality about them. He also carried through a very cohesive color palette as well. Again, your cards do not have to be done in traditional materials. This student chose to do collage work. I do want you to notice how detailed she was with layering her collage imagery. We're talking she cut around those antlers, those teeny tiny antlers in that bottom right image, and layered background, middle ground, and foreground. She was inspired by the text in each card, and each card had that theme, so that she carried through the theme of that particular text. So how can you create kind of cohesiveness in it? Choosing a color palette is a very successful way to create cohesiveness, so they all look like they relate to each other. These are really good examples of cards that have a cohesive color palette. Here are some cards, some sets that have really good themes and subject matters. This student chose to do an investigation of animals and kind of the idea of organic line quality, both in her technique, and she chose land and water animals. The top right one, the student chose to create his own characters and animation and illustration study. And the bottom right, the student kind of took that landscape assignment that we had, atmospheric perspective, and chose to just do multiple different landscapes. So, what am I looking for this week? Due at the end of this week, that's April 13th through the 19th, is 3 major points. I want the big idea, the how, and the plan. You can sketch this out on paper, in a sketchbook, on the side of a cardboard box. You can create this digitally. I want to know what your theme and concept are, okay? That big idea. What is your investigation? You can show me this by writing a few keywords or adding images as references. The how are you going to create this? What mediums, what techniques? Show me a little practice with those mediums or techniques. Maybe you were inspired by the coffee assignment and you want to continue working with coffee. Show me some techniques with the medium you are choosing. Possibly even your color palette. So how are you going to make these cohesive? And then last, the plan. I want to see your first 5 thumbnail sketches for your first 5 artist trading cards. So what do those look like? Sketches of each one. So here's kind of what my slide would look like if I were doing this assignment, which I am doing this assignment right along with you guys. I do every semester create cards and typically trade them with you guys as well. So I'm going to continue to do that. My concept or theme is playing with this image that we keep seeing over and over and over on the news, that cell or virus that looks very interesting for COVID-19. And then kind of my passion of roadside vintage neon signs and kind of the correlation between the two. So there's my big idea. I have reference pictures and I just have a quick little description. And then my techniques and mediums, I plan on doing mixed media, collages, painting, drawing. And then here are a couple works that I'm inspired by and my possible color palette. So that's answering the question of the how. And then here's my plan. Here are the first 5 cards that I plan to create. Changing out signs that have that kind of shape, that virus shape that we keep seeing. Substituting words on signs so that you get these key phrases that we keep hearing over and over. Global pandemic, twilight zone, the idea of a lounge. Everybody's lounging all day, every day. So those would be my first 5 cards and my first 5 thumbnail sketches. I did this in PowerPoint and I created this one slide with all this information on one slide. You guys have the choice, again, if you want to be sketching this on paper, if you want to be typing it, writing it down, if you want to sketch each card on the actual card itself. I'm giving you as many options as possible, but I want you to hit these 3 points in what you submit by Sunday at midnight. So again, the big idea, the how, and the plan for the first 5 cards. Again, I took a screenshot of my slide, and that's what I would upload into Canvas. You guys, again, have the option to choose to organize it however you see fit, and that will be due this week. Okay. Just quickly moving on, I'm just going to brush over the next few slides so that you guys can kind of see maybe what not to do. What I'm not wanting to see in your set of trading cards, the lack of creativity, the lack of cohesiveness, and the lack of technique. So here's what not to do. I don't want to see any copyright logos. I want you to make your own original art. So be creative, okay? This set is lacking any kind of advanced technique. They're just kind of all over the place, very random. They also have no content that is cohesive, no theme. Again, no cohesiveness. What's the theme in this set of cards? We should be able to quickly look at your finished set of 15 cards at the end of this and see a body of work that is cohesive. I also want to talk about the quality of pictures you take and upload. Again, this will be more imperative at the end of this once we get our sets of cards completed. But there on the left, you can see a bad quality picture. The student just pitched their cards out, didn't do it on a clear surface, and it's not in focus. Cards on the right is a good quality picture. They've stood up above their cards and taken the picture from up down, so it's not at a weird angle. Okay, here are just a few other sets of cards that were at the bottom of my slide. Good quality, cohesiveness, and themes. The student created a lot of characters herself, great backgrounds. That's something to think about. You can notice the bottom 3 cards. You don't have to start with blank sheets of paper. In fact, I encourage you to maybe find different materials. It's going to create an instant background for you, and you're going to have to do less work if the card actually has something on it. These were some fun ones a couple semesters ago. They were called Trump cards. So she took inspiration from Donald Trump and his portraiture, kind of cartoonish. And this set is one of the best sets I've ever seen. Yes, these are still trading cards. They are 2.5 by 3.5. Again, the student was very interested in creating her own characters and the idea of illustration and animation. So these were done with Prisma markers and pen and ink. They were so detailed and so beautiful. Here's some versions of them, just really large. Again, each one of these should stand out as being an individual work of art. Okay, so going back to what is due week by week. Again, this first week, I just want that plan, your sketchbook or digital version of the plan, and the first 5 thumbnails. Next week, we're going to create the first 5 cards, and they'll be due at the end of the week. So kind of the idea of working on 1 card per day. The third week, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just want to give you kind of the idea of what's happening. You are going to create your 5 thumbnails for your second set of 5, and they're going to be due Wednesday, midweek, and then your 5 finished cards will be due at the end of the week on Sunday. So you'll be working towards that set of 15, 5 at a time, and then the 4th week will be the same as the 3rd week. So at the end of this, you will have 15 completed cards, all cohesive with the same theme and idea and surface and medium carried out through. If you guys have any questions, let me know. At some point, we will be doing live WebEx conversations so you guys can address questions that you have during those times. Again, this whole presentation is going to be in a PDF format so you can click through it yourself and read and look at more detailed stuff. Hopefully, you are inspired to start creating something that you are passionate about. So, with that, good luck.